notes here. So if you guys remember, we are talking about the listing appointment itself, and so far we've gotten into the home and established ourselves as a professional. So I'm going to do just a quick recap on that, and then we're going to get going. Today's lesson might not be very long, but so if you remember, we're saying, like, before I get started, let me tell you a little bit about how I like to usually do these. The reason why we say that, hey, Nicole, welcome. The reason why we say that is just to get um, to establish ourselves as the professional and in charge. Then we hit them with, like, I like to start by walking through the home with you, just to get a sense of the space, ask a few questions, take some notes. After we do the walkthrough, we can sit down and talk about strategy and pricing and what makes sense based upon what we find. So um, I don't like to talk about numbers before I've actually seen the home. And so we're doing that because we want to steer them into the house first, because there's many times that I've actually had a plan walking into the house, and that plan has changed after I've seen the house. I think a lot of times we assume that most of us live the same way, but when you've seen as many houses as I've seen, you'll learn that a lot of people live very different lives. So I want to see the house first, so I can finalize my plan. I've usually got either 95% sure I'm going to go one way, or I've got an A/B plan kind of percolating in my head. I've got some notes that I've written down and brought with me. But so today we're going to be talking about the house walkthrough. And so we've already made these kind of comments to them, letting them know that we're in charge. But then at the same time, we're in their home. And so we want to be respectful of that. They haven't even done showings yet. It's maybe never, maybe it's been years, but they're not used to having strangers walking through their home like they own the place. So even though we're comfortable with it, we're going to establish ourselves as a professional, and then we're going to let them know that they can lead us and give us the tour. I like to make a comment right at the beginning about how, excuse me, I'm gonna burp. Oh, sorry about that. I like to make a comment about, like, you don't need to try to hide anything from me. Like, I've seen 1,000 homes. Um, once I leave this house, I'm gonna go see 5 other homes, and I'm gonna have forgotten everything about this. So I'm gonna be taking notes, but I'm not taking notes specifically about your personal stuff or how you live or anything like that. I know this is your home, but for me and the potential buyers, this is a structure. This is, materials, it's wood. And so that's kind of what I'm going to be looking for. So you don't need to worry about feeling embarrassed. I promise you, I'll forget it before the day's over, anything that I see. But I want to kind of put them at ease and let them know that I'm not judging them. And then I'm going to um, let them give me a tour. From there, there's really only a few things that I'm really focused on. Um, I'm asking questions about, do we have, like, have you had any fires? Have you had any electrical issues? Have you had any flooding? Do you have any active issues that are going on? Do you have anything that doesn't work? Even like an outlet or a light switch or anything like that, any cracks. Those are the things I'm asking them about. Now, however, we haven't made the sale yet. And so this is the really delicate part about this job, is because you're going to want to be twofold. You want to be realistic about what kind of a crap hole you're walking through, but you also want to be optimistic and encouraging, because if you walk in, and I've done this numerous times, where I've walked in and I'm like, oh, there's a huge crack there. That's going to be a problem. Oh, this is going to be a problem. they start feeling insecure, they start feeling upset, they start feeling attacked, they start shutting down, they no longer have a good feeling about you. And all of a sudden, all of this energy that you've created this whole time has now dissipated because you're sitting there and poking all the hornet's nests. So, what I like to do is I like to ask any questions about anything. Like if I see a crack or a hole in the wall, I ask for a little history about it. And then I try to minimize it at this point in the thing. Oh, that's not going to be that big of a deal. Oh, don't worry about that. Oh, most people won't even have an issue with that. And I'm trying to make them feel comfortable. Um, and then I'm going to be making all of these notes as I go. And there's going to be a time that we need to talk to them about it in detail. But we want to get the sell first. And so right now we're focused on, let me see the condition of the house. Oh, that's just standard wear and tear, this and that. Um, and I'm trying to gather negative information, but at the same time keep it really positive and really exciting and focused on, oh, we can sell this. You're gonna have so much money and be so much happy in your next place. Like, oh yeah, I've handled this a million times. Like at this point, we're not getting into the meat of it yet. We're starting to collect the information for the meat, but not yet. Does that make sense? Hopefully. So we're walking through the house and we're letting them give us tours. Now, when they usually what they'll do is they'll open the door and let us walk into a room and they'll just hang out there. So I always ask, "Hey, do you mind if I look in the closet? Do you mind if I look in the shower?" So they're going to let me walk into a room and then they're going to stare at me and see what I do. I'm not going to just assume that I can open closet doors or shower doors or things like that. So I'm going to ask for permission. They're always going to say yes. And then if it's in bad shape, they're going to hem and haw and make an excuse. And hey, don't worry about it. I've sold way worse houses. Like this isn't bad. Don't you worry about it. Um, so I'm gathering a picture of where, and I'm not looking for just the bad, but I'm looking at what I can accent, what I can highlight, what are features um, that are nice in the home. Let's talk about that for a second. A lot of people do a lot of up their house and they think that they're adding value. They're almost never adding value. Like there are a few things that you can do to add value to a home, but most of the stuff that you do, you're not adding value. Or if you are adding value, you're not adding enough value to even cover the cost of what you put into it. I hear all the time, oh, I just put $20,000 into the new kitchen. And so I want to make sure I get $20,000 more than the market value. No, the $20,000 kitchen remodel just brings you back to base even. It doesn't give you extra value. What happens is if we have an outdated home or if we have um, what's the word? Outdated or worn down, neglected, dilapidated, any of those things, you don't get if you do the money, you put the work in, you don't get more value than what it's worth. No, you're subtracting that away from its top value. So when we do our CMAs, you'll have to look at your CMAs, but almost always we're comparing against really nice houses. So that's top value. So when they put money into a house, they're just getting it back to top end value. And most people don't understand that. And so you've got to kind of approach that really delicately because you'll see that people expect you to be like, yeah, your house is worth 5,000, but you put $20,000 into this beautiful remodel. So now your house is worth 540,000. No, no, no. Your house is worth $500,000 with the actual, like with the remodel. Without it, it was worth $460,000. And people don't get that. And you're also looking at things that you didn't know um, from online. What's the condition of the neighbors' yards? Are they on a busy street? Are they on a cul-de-sac? Like all of these environmental factors do play a value. So you're just kind of you're kind of building up your strategy beyond what you thought it was when you walked in there. So even though in our earlier sales training I talked about, yeah, we can give CMAs without ever seeing the property. There's truth to that, but you're just not very accurate because you don't know how crappy the neighbors are. If you don't know if they're on a busy street, you can figure it out, but a lot of times people miss that. So, so you got to get your eyes on the property, but it is really important to be in those meetings face to face with those people. I've had people offer me to go do a walkthrough without them, and unless I can't get around it, like I will say, like I'd rather do it with you. I'm more comfortable with you being there, like, and it's not because I can't go to an empty house. I've been into probably thousands of empty houses. It's because I can't build the relationship with them. I can't build this trust right now. This person is walking me through the most intimate places in their life. They're usually it's their closets and their bathrooms, and they're walking me through the most intimate places. We all have those areas in our house that these are what guests see, and these are what guests don't see. And so this is a very vulnerable experience for them, which does build a lot of trust if you handle this properly, and it breaks a lot of trust if you don't handle it properly. Let's talk about normal wear and tear and just basic outdated things. Now I do a lot of flipping, and so I've got a little bit better feel for this than probably you guys do. But I mean, I shouldn't say that. I know some of you guys do flips, but um, there are very few things that you can spend money on. And Tess, I've got a graphic on this somewhere. You or Albany will have to remind me to get this graphic so we can share it. But there, I think it was the Board Realtors 4 or 5 years ago. They put out a little chart about like what are the average costs for these types of repairs and what's your average return of investment on these types of repairs. And almost none of it made money. So people are like, oh, I would rather. This is what I hear all the time, even before they even let me do a CMA. And this is one of the things I use to get into the home. I say, most people think they need to do a lot of repairs before they can sell a house, but 90% of repairs will not get you even your money back. And so you need to have me come look through your property so I can tell you what repairs to make and what repairs to not make. And a lot of people are like, I'm not ready for a realtor. I don't even want to talk to a realtor until I've already done X, Y, and Z. And do everything you can to get around that because that is such backwards thinking. Now, on the flip side, that means we're working with clients for sometimes 1 or 2 years before they. I just went under contract on a property this morning, a client of mine I've been working with for 6 years. 6 years. And every year, like, what do you think my house is worth this year? What do you think my house is worth this year? What do you think my house is worth this year? And it's like so frustrating that it just drags on and on and on. But that's how most people are. And they want to just get everything done. And even if I tell them till I'm blue in the face, they still just want to wait till they get everything done. I'm like, okay, but you're going to throw a lot of money away. So, anyways, back to this. Let's talk about what we want a house to look like. I don't remember if I've covered this or not, but while I'm walking through the house and I'm doing all of this stuff, I am also talking to them about how to present their home. So for me, I always bring a Supra and a sign with me and a contract with me. So if I can get them to sign on the spot, I can get the spare key from them right away. I can get the sign in the yard right away, and I don't have to come back a second time. So I always bring that stuff with me. And so as I'm walking through, I'm starting to assume that they're going to hire me, and I'm using some very subtle psychology about like, oh, when we do this and this is how we are going to do that, and you're going to love this experience, and I'm already, it's called assuming the sell, and it's a very powerful tactic when you have trust built, and by now you should have enough trust built to talk to them as if you are going to be their realtor. And then this sets you up for later on when you're trying to get the close. It sets you up so that it's not this awkward, uncomfortable, like, are you gonna, do you want to, it's a very smooth transition into, yeah, of course you're gonna hire me. So, so we're making a lot of comments to fill the dead space while we're walking through the house. We're making comments about how they're gonna love this, or oh, I can handle that for you, and but it's a lot of we stuff. It's a lot of you and me together. I can do this for you. Like I try to have you and me in almost every sentence in this part. Um, Specifically about what they can do. So I just walked a house, normal wear and tear. House was in good repair. They have animals, so it smelled like animals. Um, Carpet had folds in it. There were some scratches on the doors from the animals. Dust everywhere. Like your average. I don't have pets. At least pets that make that kind of mess, because I sell houses and I know how destructive pets are. So for me, and I have really bad allergies, but so for me, I tell everyone this, like, everyone becomes dirt blind to their own dirt, or nose blind to their own smells. Everyone does it. But when you walk into someone else's house, how you see their dirt and you smell their smells. That's how people are going to feel when they come into your home. And I'm not saying you're dirty. I'm not saying you smell. I'm just saying everyone has their own smells and their own dirt, and they just don't see their homes the same way that you. And I specifically say the way that you go into other people's houses and you notice their stuff that they don't notice. The same applies to you, because again, if you say that the wrong way, they are going to feel attacked, and you don't want them to feel attacked, but you also want to manage expectations. It is really hard to not oversell, especially when you're competing against three other realtors who are in there like, oh, I'm going to sell it for $8 million. And I have to be like, I'll list it for 8 million if you want me to list it for 8 million, but I can tell you right now, it's not going to sell for that. And would you rather someone who's honest with you, or would you rather have someone who just tells you what you want to hear so they can get the contract? Because I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to do a better job than them, but I want to be realistic with you. Like, sometimes I find myself having to say something like that. Um, I keep going down rabbit holes. I really want to get to this concept of uh, repairs. So most people are thinking, oh, my house is outdated. I have to update the kitchen. That's going to cost me $30,000. I've got to do the bathroom. That's $12,000, this and that. And I tell them every time, do not, don't, don't upgrade anything. If it's outdated, let it be outdated, because there's two things. One, if you update it, you could update it in a way that most people don't like. Because if I'm being honest, most people, the way they upgrade their home hurts their value, because they get so custom and so specific that it no longer appeals to a wide demographic. And so, like, just like with your car, like, there's nothing you can really modify your car that's going to add any value. It's similar with homes. You're going to add value to your homes as you modify them, but unless it's like a widely, like, I have a pool in my house. I spent $200,000 on the pool, and it added $50,000 to maybe some people, but more people than not don't want a pool, and so it actually, like, makes the buying pool smaller for a property like mine. Solar's another big one. People think that it adds value. It adds value to some people. Most people don't like solar. Most people are opposed to solar and they don't want to deal with it. And so they're like, oh, that my roof's going to go bad sooner, and this and that. And now I got to worry about other fires. Like, people complain about the weirdest things. I don't know why people don't like solar. I have solar. I haven't had a power bill in 10 years. But for whatever reason, some people don't like solar. They do every year, they deteriorate. And so they put out less power every year. So you do have to update them and upgrade them. anyways, there's all sorts of these customizations. Paint. I've seen blue, purple, black. I've seen yin yangs. I've seen faces. I've seen obscene things painted on in people's houses, like beige and grayish. If it's not beige or grayish, then it's the wrong color, unfortunately. And it's gonna someone may like it because clearly that person liked it. There's gonna be another person out there that likes it, but most people it's going to be a turnoff, and buyers do not have vision. They don't have the ability to see, oh, I could just replace that carpet. It's like $500 to replace that one piece of carpet. No big deal. Buyers don't think like that. They want everything perfect turnkey. And so I tell people, like, most of the time, anything when you're talking construction, most of the time, at best, unless you are a construction person and you're doing it for just the cost of materials, most of the repairs that you make, even if you do a good job and you do pick a good design that is current, contemporary, attractive, most of the time you are at best getting 60 to 80% return on your dollar, meaning you spend 50,000, you're getting 30 to $40,000 in value. So most of the time, even if you got to sell your house for 20 to $30,000 lower because your kitchen is from the 90s, usually that is a more frugal approach than remodeling the kitchen. However, there are some easy, quick changes that always make money. A fresh coat of paint. A fresh coat of paint will almost always return its money. A deep clean, right? I think the deep clean is like the number one. You pay someone like construction level deep clean, like they wash every wall, every surface, every switch, every knob, every grout line. You pay $500 for a deep, deep, deep clean where they spend 2 days straight just getting every surface. No dust is in the house, no fingerprints in the house, all the smudges are off the walls, and you got all little paint filler and all the little nicks and dings. um, that one adds between $5,000 to $10,000 of value to the house, just not seeing the smudges. uh, Replacing carpet, I almost never suggest replacing carpet unless there's holes in it. Stretch it, sure. Pay a couple $100 to stretch it. Yeah, you'll get your money's worth. Pay a couple $100 to have your carpet cleaned. Yeah, you'll get your money's worth. Repaint. Um, Majority of the time, like if a kitchen and bathrooms are outdated, I'll just say paint all the cabinets white. Sometimes I'll suggest to get a new countertop, but that's really it. Like if they've got like the old, what are the laminate countertops? I don't know. For my what can I think of it right now? But anyways, if they have a really ugly countertop, I'll suggest paying $1,000 to put new countertops in. But almost never. My suggestions are almost always the same. If your carpet needs it, stretch it. We'll get your carpets washed, get your walls washed, um, and possibly repaint. The kitchen cupboards. There's another one that really adds a lot of value, and that's just new fixtures. Like if the light fixtures, the light switches, the handles, the pulls, if those are outdated, that you would be surprised how much new pulls and a fresh coat of paint will make an ugly, outdated kitchen and bathroom look and feel. And so I don't even suggest countertops, painting cupboards, new poles or fixtures. I don't suggest that unless they're handy and they're asking me. Like I do not want to overwhelm them at this point in the process, because if I start going like through it with my flipper hat, because as a flipper, I'm only thinking I'm only going to pay money that I'm going to make more than I pay. So if I start doing that, and I start making this long list of, hey, we're going to do this change and this change and this change and this change, and you're going to get more money than you thought that you were going to get, then or that you could have got otherwise. I mean, then a lot of times I've seen these sellers who are already stressed out, already overwhelmed, not even wanting to move because they're getting relocated and they're having to move, but they don't really want to. This is emotional to them. They're dirt blind to it, and you just walk through their house like an asshole, pointing at everything that's bad about it. Like you're gonna kill the deal every time you're gonna kill it. And so this is a, like I said earlier, is a really sensitive topic for people, and if it's done right, you will have earned a lot of trust. But if you are aggressive, and us guys are, unfortunately, naturally, we say dumb stuff a lot and we don't realize how it lands. And women are the decision makers 80% of the time. And um, so especially myself, I'm saying this at myself, but all of us need to be really thoughtful about how we're saying what we're saying, because our industry lingo doesn't translate to, I'm an older lady and I'm having to sell and I don't want to, and this is my home that I raised my kids in. They're already very sensitive about this. And so the littlest comment can be taken way out of context and completely ruin your opportunity. So this has got to be a fact finding mission. This has got to be informational. Um, but even everything that I just shared with you, I wouldn't go over all of that with them. I'm giving you different tools for different scenarios, because um, a confused mind says no. An overwhelmed mind says no. So I'm trying to give them an experience of me walking through their home that feels safe, that feels comfortable, that I'm explaining myself as a professional, which is why I gave you all those different scenarios, that as a scenario or as a professional, I can answer their questions, but I don't want to force advice on them. I don't want to force information on them that they don't want, because you all know that when you've been talked to, how you check out and how you feel about that person after. And so this is the precursor to closing your deal. And if you handle it right, you will have enough trust that you will sit down with them on their couch or at their table, and you'll get a signed document. But if they are feeling any bit of defensive or misunderstood or sensitive about a comment that you made or anything like that, you are not getting the deal. And so um, I make it a really strong habit to never give advice that people don't want. Never give advice that people don't want. I say that again because it is that important. Even if you're right, it doesn't matter. If they're not ready to receive it, it doesn't matter how right you are. And so sometimes if I'm on the fence about what they're wanting from me, I'm asking those questions as I'm walking through. Like, do you want me to give you this advice? Do you not want me to give you this advice? Do you want to hear the strategy in detail? Do you want to know that I'm just going to take care of it? And I've seen things like this before and I can do it. Like, um, those types of questions are very powerful, so that you know how to steer the conversation to build that trust so you can go get that close. Um, I thought today was going to be a short lesson, but it turned out I had a lot more to say on the topic than I thought. So, do you guys have any questions about that before we wrap this up?
What were the questions that you asked him at the end? Do you want me to help you teach you how to do this or show you how to do this? Like, how do you go into that?
Um, so I don't necessarily. So we're going to have some questions that I'm going to probably cover next week that will transition us from the house showing over to like the pitch. Um, and so there are some questions specifically for that. But as I'm walking, not right out the gate, because we already set up the house tour. And so if I throw out something right away, I feel like I'm just like boom, 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 like keep shooting shots
Yeah.
at them like an interrogation. But
Mhm.
usually I ask the question when the first negative thing comes up, whether it's a folded carpet or whether it's um or a loose carpet or whether it's a hole in the wall or you know tons of fingerprint. Oh my goodness, I gotta tell you this. I went to this house the other day It was probably a month ago now, and I'm walking through the house, and the edge, the perimeter of the entire carpet looked like it had been bleached, like it was a black carpet, but the entire line around the entire carpet was white. And so I asked him if something got spilled around the edge of the carpet. He's like, "What do you mean? No, this is a white carpet." And like I should have taken pictures. It was a black carpet, but he had never cleaned it in 30 something years. And I don't know if he's a mechanic or what, but it was a perfectly black carpet that I thought had got bleach stains around the edges. That was disgusting. Um, so when the first thing comes up, hopefully you don't put your foot in your mouth like I did in that one, but when the first kind of issue comes up that is a negative, I'm saying like that's when I generally be like, okay, um, so there's a few things I can just give you some advice. We can talk about strategy. Like, what are you looking for from me? And I'm just clarifying how deep they want me to go. Like, do you want me to just talk about the easy stuff? Do you want me to start building a plan in my head of like the really in-depth stuff? How active or how participative, I think that's the word, that you like are wanting to be in this process? I'm asking kind of questions like that to have them guide me um, through my discussion with them. Probably wasn't a very eloquent answer. I apologize, Jamie.
That was perfect, actually. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're so cute to watch in trainings because you're just so energetic.
Thank you. I try to be. I like this job. This is a fun career. And when you start making money in it, it gets really fun. I just went under contract on a $1.2 million property, 3% commission. Like it gets
Nice.
it gets really fun when you're getting paid really well to hang out with people that you like hanging out with, you know?
I
So
cannot wait for that day. Coming soon.
yeah, it is. It just takes consistency. You just got to keep doing what you know to do. Keep getting in front of new people, new people, new people. We are working on some new marketing stuff. It might not be for a month or two before we can share it with you guys, but we've got some new marketing stuff that we've been building for a few months. It's really exciting the way it's going. So, but anyone else? What was that?
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. Does anyone else have any other questions or thoughts? Okay, so the homework assignment. This is going to be fun. I don't care if it's your neighbor, your home teacher, family members. I want you guys to do 3 house tours. Do 3 full CMAs as if you're trying to sell them. Have it be family members or people that you know. Tell them you're just practicing. You're not actually trying to sell them, but then actually try to sell them. Go through their home. Let them show you their home and start from finish. You know, work on these things. It's better for you to blow a fake dummy practice cell with your family member, with a cousin, with a sibling, with your parents, whoever it is. Like it's better to blow that than it is to actually have a real shot at making a 20 or $30,000 commission and walk away knowing you screwed it up and you could have had it. So do 3 appointments. Meet with some people this week. Walk their houses. Give them real CMAs and get that under your belt.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Stuart.
You're welcome, Celesta. Okay, thank you guys. If you guys don't have any other questions, I think I'm done for the day. So
Thank you. Have a great day.